The Great Wall of Sloan. The length of this gigantic structure of galaxies is 1,370,000,000 light-years, making it one of the largest known structures in the universe. Imagine, it's like an enormous network of galaxies arranged in walls and voids, stretching for billions of light-years, which leaves astronomers in awe. This wall was discovered in 2001 when a group of scientists led by astronomer Dan Sloan began studying the distribution of galaxies in our cosmos. But what is truly astonishing, it contains more than 84,000 galaxies, which is twice the number of stars in our own galaxy. Each of these galaxies, in turn, can be home to billions of stars, making the entire structure incredibly massive. Now imagine that the distance between galaxies on this wall often exceeds 30 million light-years, creating colossal voids that astronomers call vacuums. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. This structure is not just static, it actively interacts with the surrounding cosmos, attracting other galaxies and forming massive gravitational flows. And here's what's even more shocking. According to scientists' estimates, this wall is part of larger structures that influence the evolution of the universe. For example, next to the Great Wall of Sloan lies a mysterious structure known as the Laniakea supercluster, which encompasses more than 33,000 galaxies. Remarkably, all these galaxies are moving towards a single point, indicating the existence of a gravitational center. And that's not all. The Great Wall of Sloan and its neighboring structures could be part of a vast network structure covering the entire observable universe. Scientific models show that such formations are the result of the distribution of dark matter and energy, which make up more than 95% of all the matter in the universe. But how do these enormous structures influence the formation of galaxies? The answer may lie in the interaction between them, leading to the creation of new stars and galaxies that become part of this grand cosmic mosaic. Astronomers continue to study this structure, and each new discovery raises even more questions. And here's the most mind-boggling part. This wall, stretching 1,370,000,000 light-years long, could be just the tip of the iceberg, and who knows what other mysteries the universe holds in its vast expanse. In our solar system, there is an astonishing Kuiper belt that extends beyond the orbit of Neptune and encompasses a vast expanse filled with thousands of icy objects. This region, located between 30 and 150 astronomical units from the Sun, is home to numerous small planets and asteroids, among which Pluto stands out as a dwarf planet discovered in 1930. But do you know that Pluto is just one of more than 3,000 known objects in this belt? These icy bodies, primarily composed of water ice, methane, and ammonia, create a captivating landscape that is even more diverse than we can imagine. For instance, some of them, like Eris, are twice as large as Pluto and have their own moons, while others, like Haumea, have an unusual elliptical shape. But that's not all. According to astronomers, the Kuiper belt may contain up to 100,000 objects larger than 100 kilometers in diameter. This raises numerous questions. How did they form, and why are many of them still unexplored? Here, in the Kuiper belt, lies one of the greatest mysteries of our solar system. These objects are in constant motion, and some of them may even cross Neptune's orbit, making them potentially hazardous to our planet. Now imagine that there are objects in this belt that could be undiscovered planets. This could change our understanding of how our system is structured. And what's even more intriguing, in 2015, the New Horizons spacecraft became the first to explore Pluto and its moon Charon, and its discoveries revolutionized our understanding of dwarf planets. For example, vast ice plains covered with ice flows were found on Pluto's surface, indicating geological activity, all in conditions where the surface temperature reaches -260 degrees Celsius. However, besides Pluto, the Kuiper belt also contains other objects that may hold the keys to understanding the formation of our solar system. One of them, for instance, is called 2014 MU69, and is named Ultima Thule. It turned out to be an exceptionally well-preserved relic from the early solar system that could tell us about its first days. And what's even more fascinating, scientists suspect that many of these icy objects may contain organic molecules, which are the building blocks of life. How did they get there? This opens new horizons for the study not only of our solar system but also the possibility of life on other planets. In space, there exist mysterious objects known as brown dwarfs which lie on the border between stars and planets. Imagine something that weighs 30 to 100 times more than Earth, but not massive enough to ignite thermonuclear reactions that make stars so bright. This means that brown dwarfs do not shine like stars, but emit only a weak heat, making them extremely difficult to detect. Did you know that the first brown dwarfs were discovered only at the end of the 90s? In 2001, astronomers found an object called Luhar, which became one of the first examples of such strange celestial bodies. But wait, that's not all. Some brown dwarfs may have atmospheres containing clouds of water vapor and methane, making them resemble planets, but with a completely different nature. And now, the most astonishing part, a brown dwarf's mass must be at least 30 solar masses to avoid becoming a star. This opens doors to understanding how such objects form and what role they play in the evolution of the universe. What's even more shocking, brown dwarfs can be so cold that their temperature can drop to minus 200 degrees Celsius. This is equivalent to the conditions on the surface of some moons of Jupiter. It seems incredible, but astronomers suggest that around 30% of stellar systems in our galaxy may harbor brown dwarfs. This challenges our understanding of how many objects actually exist in the cosmos. In some cases, brown dwarfs can even form binary systems with real stars, creating complex interactions between them. Just imagine, there could be a dark object in the sky that doesn't shine but orbits its star like a planet. This opens new horizons for astronomers and scientists. There are even brown dwarfs that formed from the same disk material as their stellar neighbors but couldn't reach the necessary mass for thermonuclear synthesis. As a result, they remain in the shadows, not receiving the attention they deserve. Research shows that brown dwarfs can help us understand how stars and planets interact and evolve over billions of years. Their study raises many questions about where one category ends and another begins, and how we can better classify all objects in our universe. But the most amazing thing, some brown dwarfs may be old stars that have exhausted their fuel and are now fading away in the cold cosmos, leaving behind a whole history waiting to be discovered. Recent discoveries in astronomy are truly astonishing. Imagine planets orbiting their stars in the opposite direction, seemingly mocking all existing theories of planetary formation. These mysterious worlds are known as hot Jupiters, and their existence challenges everything we thought we knew about planetary system formation. How is this possible? Many of them are only a few million kilometers away from their stars, making them incredibly hot. Temperatures can reach 1,000 degrees Celsius. It's fascinating that astronomers only began discovering such exoplanets in the 20th century, and the first hot Jupiter, named HD 209458b, was found in 1996. This discovery caused a sensation, as it was previously believed that such planets could not exist. But that's not all. Some of these planets orbit in the opposite direction, contradicting traditional models where planets form and orbit in the same direction as their stars. How does this happen? According to one theory, hot Jupiters could have initially formed at large distances from their stars, and then, due to gravitational interactions, moved closer, changing their direction of rotation. This raises the question of what forces act in the cosmos to so drastically alter the trajectory of planets. Is this a result of interactions with other massive objects, or are there still unexplained mechanisms at work? Did you know that astronomers have discovered more than 300 hot Jupiters? This is just a small part of the more than 5,000 confirmed exoplanets we know about today. Each of them could tell a unique story filled with mysteries and enigmas that we are just beginning to unravel. But there's something even more shocking. Some hot Jupiters have atmospheres containing molecules that indicate the presence of water and even carbon, opening the door to discussions about the possibility of life on other planets. Imagine that life could exist in such conditions, but in a form completely different from what we are used to seeing on Earth. What are the conditions on such planets, and can they really support life? Just think about the discoveries that await us. In the cosmos, there exist mysterious objects known as blazars, which are quasars with unique characteristics. These giants can release streams of matter moving at speeds close to the speed of light. Imagine jets directed straight at Earth, which can stretch for millions of light years. This makes blazars some of the brightest and most powerful energy sources in the universe. At their peak, they can emit more light than an entire galaxy, which is astonishing. But this is not just light, it also includes intense radiation, including radio waves, X-rays, and gamma rays. Did you know that blazars can be billions of times more massive than our Sun? The most famous blazar, known as OJ2 321-42, was discovered in the 1970s and has since been the subject of active research. Now imagine these objects are more than 1 billion light-years away from us, but their influence is felt here on Earth. They can affect cosmic radiation, meaning their activity can impact our atmosphere and even our planet's climate. Scientists suggest that such powerful jets can eject heavy elements into interstellar space, potentially influencing the formation of new stars and planets. But that's not the most peculiar thing. Some blazars emit such powerful waves that they can cause electromagnetic bursts, disrupting radio signals on Earth. What's even more shocking? Blazars can remain active for millions of years and then suddenly go dormant for centuries, leaving behind only a mystery. Observing them requires complex technologies, such as observatories operating in various wavelength ranges, making their study a real challenge for astronomers. Despite all efforts, many questions about their nature and behavior remain unanswered. How do they form? Why do they become active? The answers to these questions are still awaiting discovery, reminding us of how many mysteries the universe holds. On Mars, there stands the highest mountain in the solar system, the volcano Olympus, which reaches a height of 21 kilometers, 900 meters. This is 2.5 times higher than the highest peak on Earth, Mount Everest, which is 8,888 meters tall. But imagine the size of Olympus. Its base covers an area comparable to the size of all of Europe. What is truly astonishing is that this volcano is a shield volcano, meaning it formed as a result of numerous eruptions over billions of years. Powerful lava flows from its crater have created wide and gentle slopes, giving it the appearance of a giant plate resting on the surface of the red planet. But wait, there's more. Olympus is surrounded by a vast plain that stretches for thousands of kilometers, and its slopes feature unique geological formations such as fissures and canyons that could tell us about its turbulent history. Did you know that Olympus could easily contain several Everests? This is simply incredible. Research shows that eruptions on Mars may have continued until recently in cosmic terms, and scientists are still debating whether it is currently active. Furthermore, the atmospheric pressure on Mars is only 1/100th of that on Earth, so imagine the conditions at its peak. Temperatures there can drop to minus 120 degrees Celsius, raising questions about how any forms of life could survive in such conditions. Olympus is not just a mountain, it is a whole world filled with mysteries and enigmas. And if you thought that was all, the most amazing thing is that traces of water have been found on its slopes, giving hope that life could exist even in the most unexpected places. Missions sent to Mars continue to study this volcano to understand how it formed and what its future prospects are. On Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, something truly remarkable is happening. Geysers of water are erupting from cracks in the icy crust, reaching heights of up to 500 kilometers. Imagine this: an ice layer several kilometers thick is cracking, and powerful jets of water are being expelled like a fountain, but millions of times more powerful. This creates breathtaking scenes as water vapor clouds rise into space, and analysis of the data shows that these jets contain not only water, but also organic molecules. What does this mean? It could be an oasis of life in the vast emptiness of space. Thanks to the Cassini missions, which explored Saturn and its moons from 2004 to 2018, scientists have obtained stunning images of these geysers, showing their activity in real time. Each drop of water expelled from the depths of Enceladus contains clues that beneath the icy surface lies a vast ocean. One of the most astonishing discoveries is that the subsurface ocean could span depths of several kilometers and have temperatures reaching positive values due to geothermal activity. These conditions create an ideal environment for potential life. But that's not the most peculiar thing. Research has shown that the geysers also expel ice particles and salt, which can form clouds in Enceladus's atmosphere. Now imagine this. These clouds could be the source of interesting chemical reactions that could lead to the formation of more complex molecules necessary for life. Compare this to Earth. Similar processes occur in our oceans, and they have laid the foundation for the life we know. But here, on Enceladus, nearly 1 billion kilometers away from us, all this happens in conditions we still do not fully understand. Scientists continue to study these phenomena, and with each new discovery, we get closer to answering the question, is there life beyond our planet? And the most astonishing thing? These geysers could be the key to solving this mystery, and each new launch of a spacecraft brings us closer to an answer that could change everything we know about life in the universe. On Titan, Saturn's moon, there are methane lakes that are astonishing. Imagine a water surface composed of liquid methane and ethane, not water, as on Earth. These lakes are comparable in size to the Great Lakes on our planet. One of them, Lake Kraken, covers an area of 130,000 square kilometers. But that's not all. Titan's atmosphere is 3 times denser than Earth's and consists of 85% nitrogen, while on Earth this gas makes up only 81%. This makes Titan a unique place for research, as such conditions could have existed on early Earth. What happens when methane rain falls on the surface? These rains form rivers and lakes that flow across the landscape, creating real methane ecosystems. And now, the most incredible part, the temperature on Titan is around minus 160 degrees Celsius, but despite this, scientists suggest that there could be oceans of liquid water beneath its icy crust. Do you know what this means? Such conditions could potentially support life, much like it did on Earth billions of years ago. But that's not all. Titan's atmospheric conditions create complex organic molecules that could be the key to understanding life in other corners of the universe. 80% of the atmosphere is methane, which raises the question, what if there are organisms adapted to live in such conditions? Research conducted by the Cassini-Huygens mission showed that Titan has methane rain cycles similar to Earth's water cycles. These cycles create conditions for possible life, although in a completely unusual form. And now imagine this. In what forms could life manifest in methane seas? As soon as we can delve deeper into studying Titan, answers to these questions could change our understanding of life in the cosmos. And the most astonishing thing? Complex molecules such as amines and hydrocarbons have already been found on Titan, which could serve as the basis for biochemical processes. These discoveries leave no doubt that Titan is not just an icy moon, but a whole world of possibilities where life could exist in forms we never even imagined. Imagine this. In our galaxy, there could be up to 40 billion planets that are similar to Earth in terms of conditions. This number is simply staggering, but how is this possible? It turns out that astronomers have determined that in the habitable zone of their stars, where temperatures allow water to exist in a liquid state, at least 1/3 of all known exoplanets could be located. For comparison, in our solar system, only one planet, Earth, meets these criteria. But what makes these potential planets so special? They could have an atmosphere capable of supporting life as we know it. In some cases, planets could be at a distance from their stars similar to the distance from Earth to the Sun, allowing them to have stable climatic conditions. And this is where it gets truly mind-boggling. Scientists suggest that these planets could have oceans, rivers, and even continents. And what's even more astonishing, some of these exoplanets could be even older than our Earth, opening up incredible possibilities for studying the evolution of life in different conditions. For example, recent research has shown that on a planet known as Kepler-4 52b, conditions could be ideal for life, as it is located in the habitable zone of its star and has a size very close to Earth. But that's not all. Astronomers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have calculated that in our galactic neighborhood there could be up to 100 billion stars, and each of them could have its own planets. This opens the door to numerous potential discoveries that could change our understanding of life in the universe. 85% of known exoplanets are in such conditions, and what's most incredible, we are only beginning to master technologies that will allow us to study these distant worlds in detail. With new telescopes like the James Webb, we will have the opportunity to look at these planets and perhaps find signs of life that we could not even dream of. This means that in the near future, we will not only see stars but also planets where, perhaps, someone is looking at us with hope and dreams of meeting us. And now imagine that on one of these planets, there are beings that could be similar to us, but with a completely different history and culture. How could this change our view of the universe? According to the theory of inflation, our universe could be just one of many bubbles floating in the vast expanse of the multiverse. Imagine that each of these bubbles could have its own set of physical laws, which is truly mind-boggling. For instance, in some bubbles, gravity might be stronger than in our universe, while in others it might be weaker or even non-existent. The most fascinating part is that these bubbles can form and disappear, much like bubbles in a glass of soda, at different speeds and times. Research shows that if we could observe neighboring bubbles, they might look completely different from our familiar universe. In some models, it is suggested that universes can vary in size, from tiny dense points to vast spaces filled with stars and galaxies larger than our own. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. Imagine that in one of these bubbles, life could exist, but its physical laws are such that it cannot be recognized by our scientists. This means that in reality, we might not be the only intelligent beings in the entire multiverse, but we simply cannot interact with other forms of life due to the differences in physical laws. Studies conducted by astrophysicists indicate that this concept is not just a fantasy, it is supported by mathematical models and observations. For example, astronomers have found traces of the cosmic microwave background radiation that could indicate interactions between bubbles. And what's even more shocking, some scientists claim that in the future we might develop technologies that allow us to detect and possibly even travel between these bubbles, opening up new horizons and worlds that we can barely imagine today. But this is just the beginning. Time will tell what awaits us in this boundless ocean of the multiverse, where each bubble is a new story waiting to be told. On Pluto, a heart has been discovered, and this finding has stunned astronomers. A bright area in the shape of a heart occupies more than 1 million square kilometers. This means the heart is the size of Alaska. Its base consists of frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide, creating a striking contrast with the dark surface of the dwarf planet. But that's not all. Temperatures on Pluto drop to -260 degrees Celsius, and under such conditions, frozen gases form complex structures that appear as if nature itself created them. But what's even more astonishing, these gases that form the heart could be connected to underground oceans existing beneath the planet's surface. But this is not the only secret that Pluto hides. Have you ever wondered how such massive ice formations could have formed on such a distant and cold object? It turns out that the heart could have formed due to tectonic processes that continue to occur on Pluto, despite its small mass and distance from the Sun. Research conducted by the New Horizons probe has shown that the heart is not just a static formation, its shape changes, and this confirms that there is activity beneath the surface. Imagine this. Beneath the icy crust, moving masses flow like underwater rivers, which can influence the external structure of the planet. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. Some scientists suggest that the heart could serve as a kind of thermoregulator, maintaining stable temperatures on Pluto, which in turn could support the existence of microbial life in the underground waters. Imagine that in such conditions life could develop, of which we are not even aware. If you thought that was all, it gets even more interesting. Analysis of the data has shown that the heart is surrounded by unusual icy formations that evoke associations with ocean waves, as if Pluto hides its own ocean waves. And now, the most incredible part. Some parts of the heart contain organic compounds that could be precursors to life. This discovery challenges our notions of where and how life could develop in our solar system. Have you ever wondered if there could be conditions beyond Earth that support life? On Pluto, this discovery challenges all our assumptions about the habitability of planets. Imagine this. A day on a neutron star can last just a few milliseconds. This happens because such stars rotate at incredible speeds, up to several hundred revolutions per second. To give you an idea of the scale, picture spinning a giant soccer ball that weighs more than the entire Earth, and it's spinning so fast that its surface is blurred. Scientists call these rapidly rotating neutron stars pulsars, and their pulsations can be compared to the rhythmic beating of a heart, but with a frequency that even the fastest clocks would envy. While Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, pulsars can complete a full rotation in fractions of a second. This means that in just one of our hours, such a star can make up to 3,000 rotations. But the most astonishing fact is that the gravity on the surface of a neutron star is billions of times stronger than on Earth. This allows for conditions that are simply impossible to imagine. Temperatures on the surface can reach millions of degrees Celsius, and the atmosphere consists of subatomic particles. If you could stand on such a star, which of course is impossible due to its immense gravity, you would instantly be broken down into elementary particles. And here's another shocking fact. Thanks to their properties, pulsars serve not only as objects of study but also as natural lighthouses. Their bright radio wave pulses help astronomers explore mysterious phenomena like the curvature of space-time. These stars can become important tools for understanding gravitational waves, which were first detected in 2016 by scientists. But that's not all. There are even pulsars that rotate so fast that scientists cannot fully explain how this is possible. For example, the pulsar known as PSRJ 1748-2446 AD makes up to 700 revolutions per second. For comparison, this is more than most known pulsars, and its study may open new horizons in our understanding of physics. Scientists speculate that such extreme conditions may allow them to explore the limits of matter and gravity that have never been reached before. Now imagine that in each of these milliseconds an incredible number of events occur. Particles collide, new elements form, and all of this happens at a level that is invisible to the naked eye. The universe is full of mysteries, and neutron stars are just one of its fascinating enigmas that continue to amaze astronomers and space enthusiasts. Each new discovery can revolutionize our understanding of what space and time are. Dark matter. Did you know that it makes up approximately 27% of the entire universe? It's as if you discovered that nearly a third of your surroundings are invisible forces that act but cannot be seen. Imagine a vast quantity of matter influencing the movement of galaxies, like invisible threads pulling them in a cosmic dance. But here's the intriguing part. We cannot see dark matter, just as we cannot see wind, but we can observe its effects. For example, when astronomers study the rotation of galaxies, they notice that the speed of rotation of stars at the outer edges is too high for the amount of visible matter they have. It's like people on a carousel spinning, but you can't see where the force comes from that makes them move so quickly. But here's something even more astonishing. Dark matter acts as a gravitational shield, holding galaxies together and preventing their destruction. Scientists like Dr. Vera Rubin, who first noticed this strange effect in the 60s, began to suspect the existence of something greater than ordinary matter. In essence, if it weren't for dark matter, our galaxies could be torn apart like unfinished buildings. But the mysteries don't end there. Research shows that dark matter could consist of particles that don't even interact with ordinary matter. It's as if there were invisible guests in a room who don't knock on the door or make any sound, but create an incredible pressure around them. No telescopes can detect its presence. Only gravitational interactions give us hints of its existence. According to the latest data, about 95% of all the matter in the universe is made up of dark energy and dark matter. This means we know less than 5% of what is actually out there. Astronomers are trying to unravel this cosmic puzzle using various methods, including studying the cosmic microwave background radiation, light that remains from the Big Bang. And what is truly fascinating, if we were able to discover dark matter, it could completely change our understanding of physics and the laws governing the universe. Research continues, and scientists around the world are developing new methods to catch this invisible entity. Have you noticed that some of the most advanced dark matter detectors are located deep underground, in old mines? This is done to minimize the influence of other particles and increase the chances of detection. Every step in this direction brings us closer to unraveling the mystery that could change our perception of reality. And if you think that's all, prepare for the next amazing fact. There are dark galaxies in the cosmos that do not emit light and are not visible in ordinary wavelength ranges, but their influence on surrounding objects can be enormous. In the cosmos, where darkness and cold rain and stars are just beginning their journey towards light, scientists have discovered molecules of alcohol, including ethanol. Imagine vast clouds of gas, thousands of times larger than any cloud on Earth, containing organic compounds that can cause astonishment. These molecules were found in giant molecular clouds where temperatures can drop to -260 degrees Celsius. How is this possible? The answer lies in chemical processes that occur in these clouds where high pressure and cold facilitate the formation of complex organic molecules. Using radio telescopes like ALMA in Chile, scientists were able to detect signals indicating the presence of ethanol, a component essential for life as we know it. But what is even more intriguing is that other alcohols, such as methanol, were also found in these clouds. Methanol can serve as a source of carbon for the formation of more complex molecules. How can these molecules influence the formation of stars and planets? This is where things become truly fascinating. When stars form from these clouds, they can capture these organic molecules, creating the possibility for planets where life could arise. This is not just theory. In some meteorites that have fallen to Earth, traces of these same molecules have been found, raising the question of whether life on our planet could have a cosmic origin. What is even more astonishing, these molecules may not be mere accidental discoveries, but crucial components for future research missions in the search for life on other planets. Studies show that alcohol molecules can form under conditions similar to those found on Jupiter and Saturn's moons. And what next, you ask? Perhaps we are on the brink of discovering new forms of life that once existed in these remote corners of the cosmos. Scientific data indicate that up to 30% of the carbon in the gas clouds from which stars form can be in the form of organic molecules. This discovery raises many questions about how life can develop in the most unexpected places in the universe. The Hubble Space Telescope has been a true breakthrough in astronomy. Over the course of its 30 years of operation, it has conducted more than 1,400,000 observations, an absolutely staggering amount of data. Each of these observations provided astronomers with unique information about objects such as black holes, exoplanets, and galaxies located billions of light-years away. Now imagine this. Hubble has transmitted approximately 150 terabytes of information back to Earth. This is equivalent to storing information on several tens of thousands of DVD discs. How is this possible? All thanks to its powerful cameras and precise scientific instruments that allow it to capture images with incredible clarity. Did you know that thanks to Hubble, we were able to see the most distant galaxies in the process of formation, some of which are over 13 billion years old? These images not only expanded our knowledge of the universe, but also changed our understanding of its evolution. Remarkably, some of these observations helped astronomers determine the rate of the universe's expansion with an accuracy of up to 10%. And that's not all. Hubble established that dark energy, which appears to make up around 70% of all matter and energy in the universe, is responsible for its accelerated expansion. Now imagine that these data were collected over the course of 30 years, and each year Hubble processed thousands of images that were then analyzed by scientists from around the world. How did this affect our understanding of the cosmos? Scientific publications based on Hubble data have revolutionized our understanding of phenomena such as star formation and black holes, and even how galaxies form. And what's even more fascinating, some of the images obtained have become true visual masterpieces that have inspired an entire generation of astronomers and space enthusiasts. For example, the famous Eagle Nebula photograph, which shows star formations resembling cosmic sculptures, has captivated the attention of millions of people worldwide. This is not just data and observations, it is windows into the vast expanse of the universe, revealing countless mysteries before us. And remember, Hubble continues to work, collecting new data, and its archive still holds incredible discoveries waiting for their moment to astound us. Imagine a world where rain is made of molten glass and iron. Yes, you heard it right. On exoplanets of the hot Jupiter's class, this is exactly what happens. These giants, orbiting their stars at incredibly close distances, are subjected to extreme temperature conditions that can reach over 2,000 degrees Celsius. At such temperatures, metallic vapors rise into the atmosphere and then condense into drops that upon hitting the surface turn into glass. But that's not all. Side winds on such planets can reach speeds of up to 7,000 kilometers per hour, making the atmosphere a real hell where showers of molten metal merge with hurricane-like air currents. How is this possible? The reason is that hot Jupiters have significant mass and enormous gravitational fields that hold their dense atmospheres in place despite the intense radiation from the stars. But wait, there's more to it. Did you know that on some of these planets, such as HD 189733b, clouds composed of silicates have been observed? These particles, heated to high temperatures, can act like sharp shards that literally tear everything in their path. And here arises the question, how can life exist in such conditions? Scientists suggest that life on hot Jupiters might have a completely different form than we can imagine. Some even propose that microbial organisms could survive in such extreme conditions, using metallic compounds for their metabolism. But the most astonishing thing is that such planets are found in enormous numbers in our galaxy, and astronomers have already discovered more than 600 exoplanets of this class. Consider this: 600 potential worlds where rain of molten glass could be a common occurrence. This opens up entirely new horizons for astrophysics and the search for life on other planets. It's intriguing to think about what other mysteries these distant worlds might hold. The planet WASP-12b is absolutely extraordinary. It is so close to its star that the temperature on its surface reaches an astounding 2,400 degrees Celsius. Imagine being able to watch as the atmosphere literally evaporates into the open cosmos, creating an effect similar to the steam rising from boiling water. But that's not all. The gravitational forces of its star deform the planet, giving it an egg-like shape, which makes it unique among all known exoplanets. Do you know what an exoplanet is? It's a world that orbits around another star, and WASP-12b is one of the most extreme among them. It is located just 1.4 million kilometers from its star, while Mercury, the closest planet to our Sun, is 37 million kilometers away. These conditions make WASP-12b a true hell in the universe, where gravitational forces are so strong that the planet is losing its atmosphere in the process. Remarkably, while the temperature on its surface reaches such heights, on the side facing away from the star where sunlight doesn't reach, the temperature can drop to negative 400 degrees. But that's not the most peculiar thing. On WASP-12b there are strong winds that can reach speeds of over 200 kilometers per hour. They can carry away clouds of molten metals like iron and magnesium into the open cosmos. But how is this possible? The reason is that the planet doesn't just orbit its star, it does so at such a speed that one of its rotations takes only one Earth day. Think about it. In just 24 hours on WASP-12b, an entire year passes because it is so close to its star that its summer lasts only a brief night. Studies show that these extreme conditions allow scientists to observe the process of atmosphere formation on exoplanets, opening the door to understanding other, less extreme worlds, including those where life might exist. And now imagine standing on the surface of this planet and looking at your star, which appears 300 times larger than our Sun, and realizing that every moment you are on the brink of disappearance. When an object approaches a black hole, it faces a true cosmic ordeal, a phenomenon known as spaghettification. This occurs due to the incredibly strong gravity that relentlessly stretches and compresses matter, as if it were a piece of dough in the hands of an Italian chef. Imagine a star the size of a small planet being torn apart by the varying gravitational forces from its head to its feet, creating an extraordinary stretching effect. At the center of a black hole, gravity is so strong that the difference in attraction between the front and back of an object can reach several million newtons. To give you an idea of what this means, imagine being as heavy as 30 people at once, and that's just the beginning. But that's not even the most bizarre part. During the process of spaghettification, the object loses its familiar forms, transforming into a long, thin thread. This thread can reach kilometers in length, and its uniform stretching creates an effect similar to a taut string. What's even more astonishing, this string can be so thin that its diameter can be just a few atoms. For example, scientists have calculated that if a star twice the mass of the Sun were to fall into a black hole, it could stretch to 200,000 kilometers during spaghettification. When the object crosses the event horizon, this entire bizarre transformation becomes final. Gravitational forces become so strong that no matter or information can escape the black hole. This means that all information about the original object, whether it's a star or a planet, disappears without a trace, leaving only the mystery of what happened to it. At the same time, scientists cannot precisely determine how these forces work or what effect they have on the atomic structure of matter. And what's even more intriguing, Theorists working with ideas about quantum mechanics suggest that something unexpected might be happening in black holes. If we could observe the process of spaghettification, we might be able to learn how matter behaves at the smallest scales. In such a case, black holes would not just be objects of study, but true portals to unexplored realms of physics. What do you think might be waiting beyond the event horizon, ready to be discovered? Magnetars are true cosmic monsters with magnetic fields that are trillions of times stronger than Earth's magnetic field. Imagine a star so powerful that at a distance of just a few thousand kilometers, its gravitational force is so great that it can tear apart any object approaching it. These neutron stars form when massive stars collapse after supernova explosions, and their cores become so dense that 1 cubic centimeter of matter can weigh up to 100 million tons. What is truly shocking is that a magnetar's magnetic field can reach a strength of 10 to the power of 11 Gauss. For comparison, Earth's magnetic field is only around 50 milligauss. But that's not all. These stars emit powerful X-ray and gamma-ray radiation, and their luminosity can exceed the total luminosity of all stars in our galaxy when they are in an active phase. What's even more astonishing is that magnetars can sometimes produce such intense radiation bursts that they can be detected at distances of millions of light-years. One of the most famous magnetars, known as SGR 1806-20, in 2004 created an explosion equivalent to the energy released in billions of thermonuclear reactions. This explosion was so powerful that its X-ray radiation reached Earth despite the distance of around 2,000 light-years. These stars do not just attract the attention of astronomers, they serve as true laboratories for studying physics under extreme conditions. How do they manage to maintain such a strong magnetic field? The answer lies in their rapid rotation. Magnetars rotate at incredible speeds, which helps to create and sustain their magnetic fields. Each magnetar also has its unique characteristics. For example, the magnetar RxJ18556.5-3754, located about 200 light-years away from us, has a magnetic field that is 300 times stronger than that of typical neutron stars. But even this is not the limit. Some researchers suggest that there may even be crystalline iron at the center of a magnetar, making this star even more mysterious. And imagine what happens when such stars collide. This can lead to the formation of entirely new objects, such as hypermassive black holes. Each time astronomers discover new magnetars, they get closer to unraveling one of the greatest mysteries of the cosmos. Every day, approximately 100 tons of cosmic material in the form of meteor dust fall on Earth. Have you ever wondered where this mysterious substance comes from, which, like an invisible rain, showers our planet? These tiny particles, often the size of a grain of sand, travel billions of kilometers through space before crashing into our atmosphere. Imagine this. Each year, more than 37,000 tons of meteor dust fall on the surface of Earth. And this is just the part that reaches the surface, as most meteors burn up in the atmosphere, leaving behind brilliant meteor showers. But the most astonishing fact is that every second around 100 meteors fall on Earth, and their total number in the atmosphere reaches enormous proportions. Do you know what happens to the particles that don't burn up? They become part of our ecosystem, mixing with the earth and water, contributing to the formation of new minerals. Meteor dust contains numerous rare elements, such as nickel and cobalt, which can be used in various industries, including electronics. Elements from space even find their application in the production of solar panels. But that's not all. Some meteors are true time capsules, preserving traces of ancient processes in the solar system. One such meteor that fell in Australia contained amino acids, building blocks of life, which could provide clues about how life originated on Earth. Imagine that these tiny particles could tell us about what happened on other planets billions of years ago. And this is just a part of what the cosmos holds. Did you know that every meteor that falls on Earth is unique and can contain traces of ancient stars? Scientific research shows that analyzing such meteors can lead to revolutionary discoveries in the fields of astronomy and astrophysics. It's interesting that some meteors even contain water trapped within their structure, which could help scientists understand how water could have appeared on our planet. So, the next time you look at the night sky, think about how many meteors are currently falling on Earth and what secrets they might hold. And this is just the beginning, as scientists continue to find new ways to extract information from cosmic dust, opening doors to further research. Pulsars are not just stars, but true cosmic clocks that rotate at incredible speeds, emitting radio waves with such precision that they can be used to measure time on interstellar scales. Imagine this: one such star, located more than 2,000 light-years from Earth, rotates around its axis 60 times per second. This means it completes 3,600 revolutions in just 1 minute. What makes them truly unique is that their radio waves can be detected with such precision that the difference between their pulses can be as little as a few microseconds. This discovery became possible thanks to detailed observations using radio telescopes, such as the Pulsar Radio Telescope at Purdue, which is as large as a whole football stadium. But that's not all. In the 90s of the 20th century, scientists found that pulsars could not only be used to measure time, but also to test Albert Einstein's theories of relativity. Let's recall pulsar PSRJ 0737-3039, which is part of a binary pulsar system and orbits its companion at a distance of just 32 kilometers. This pulsar not only emits radio waves but also allows astronomers to measure gravitational waves resulting from the interaction of two massive objects. How is this possible? The secret lies in the fact that pulsars emit radio signals that oscillate depending on their relative motion. But that's not all. Some pulsars, such as PSRB 1937+21, can reach rotation speeds of up to 130 revolutions per second, making them the fastest known. Imagine how, in just 1 second, they can travel a distance equal to the distance from Earth to the Moon. And now imagine that these stars can be used to create a three-dimensional map of our galaxy. Scientists can track changes in pulsar pulses and identify deviations in their speed, allowing them to study the structure and dynamics of the Milky Way. But what is truly astonishing is that some pulsars are in a state of pulsation, meaning their radio signals can be interrupted and reappear, as if they are communicating with us from the distant cosmos. This effect can occur due to the interaction of pulsars with the magnetic fields and other cosmic objects surrounding them. It's no wonder that pulsars have become important tools for astronomers and physicists, allowing us to peer into the mysteries of the universe. For example, pulsar PSRJ 1906 + 0746 has a unique characteristic. Its radio signals are interrupted every 32 seconds, allowing scientists from the University of Cambridge to study its behavior in detail. And this is just a small part of the amazing discoveries that pulsars can provide us. On Jupiter, a gigantic storm known as the Great Red Spot has been raging for more than 350 years, captivating the imagination of astronomers and space enthusiasts alike. This vortex is so immense that it could contain 3 Earths, and its dimensions are truly impressive. Its diameter exceeds 40,000 kilometers. But this is not the most astonishing part. Winds in the center of this storm reach speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour, making it one of the most powerful storms in our solar system. Imagine how a hurricane of such force could reshape the landscape on Earth. Now consider that on Jupiter, this storm has been raging for centuries, and its persistence raises many questions among scientists. How is this possible? The answer lies in the unique atmospheric conditions of the planet, where there is no solid surface, and vast masses of gas create ideal conditions for the maintenance and intensification of these vortices. But there's more. Temperatures in the upper cloud layers reach minus 130 degrees Celsius, while in the lower layers they can soar to 1,000 degrees. How is this possible on one planet? Jupiter has a powerful magnetic field 80 times stronger than Earth's, which creates extraordinary conditions for the formation and maintenance of such gigantic atmospheric phenomena. And did you know that the Great Red Spot changes color? Depending on the season and solar activity, it can appear bright red or pale pink, and this phenomenon has astronomers scratching their heads over what exactly influences its appearance. Moreover, in recent decades, observations have shown that the spot is losing size, with its diameter shrinking by several kilometers each year. What awaits this gigantic storm in the future? Will it finally disappear or find a way to exist anew? These are questions that still need to be answered, and with each new study we uncover more mysteries of this extraordinary world. Oh, and by the way, did you know that Jupiter is twice as heavy as all the other planets in our solar system combined? In space, there are regions where the temperature drops to incredible minus 273 degrees Celsius, and this is not just a theory, but a reality that can be observed in the Boomerang Nebula. This nebula, located approximately 14,000 light-years away from Earth, is the coldest known area in the universe. Imagine this. In it, the temperature is so low that atoms seem to stop moving and are in a state close to absolute zero. But how is this possible? The Boomerang Nebula formed as a result of a star shedding its outer layers, creating a cloud of gas and dust that then gradually cools down. And here's where it gets truly extraordinary. In this nebula, the temperature reaches minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, which is 3 degrees below absolute zero. But that's not all. Under such conditions, helium and hydrogen become liquid and begin to interact according to completely unusual laws. What's even more astonishing? In these conditions, molecules begin to form complex structures that cannot exist under normal temperatures. For instance, in the Boomerang Nebula, scientists have observed the formation of large molecular clouds, such as carbon compounds, which quickly disintegrate under normal conditions. But what makes this nebula particularly fascinating is that its expansion speed is almost 200 kilometers per second. This is so fast that it can outpace light passing through ordinary matter. If you thought this was amazing, wait for this. The Boomerang Nebula opens doors to new research that could lead to revolutionary discoveries in the fields of quantum mechanics and thermodynamics. For example, by studying how matter behaves under such extreme conditions, scientists may learn to create new materials with unique properties. This means that in the future we could develop technologies that will change our lives. But how will such research affect our understanding of the universe? The answer to this question could revolutionize our understanding of physics and matter. Just a few million kilometers away from their stars, there exist so-called hot Neptunes, planets that resemble Neptune in size and composition, but whose atmospheres heat up to astonishing temperatures, reaching up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Imagine clouds not of water vapor, but of metallic clouds that can form due to incredible temperatures and pressures. These exoplanets become true cosmic ovens, where conditions are completely unsuitable for life as we know it. Scientific data shows that there could be thousands of such planets in our galaxy, representing a unique class of objects that greatly interest astronomers. But that's not the most extraordinary thing. Hot Neptunes often exhibit extreme winds, with speeds reaching 100 meters per second, making their atmospheres some of the most dynamic in the universe. And what's even more shocking, some of them can have unusual rings composed of ice and rock particles orbiting at incredible speeds. Scientists suggest that these rings may be formed from debris left over from the destruction of moons or other celestial bodies. But how is this possible? It turns out that the gravity of the star they are too close to causes powerful tidal forces that tear everything in their path apart. This not only creates breathtaking visual effects but also causes interesting changes in the atmosphere of the planets themselves. For example, observations show that hot Neptunes often lose their atmospheres due to the intense radiation from their stars, and these processes can occur relatively quickly, over a few million years. This raises many questions about how stars and planets interact with each other and what mysteries the cosmos still holds. In some cases, hot Neptunes can even have bright glowing clouds, making them visible from far away. Scientists are actively developing new technologies to study these distant worlds using powerful telescopes like the James Webb, which can peer into the atmospheres of these planets and determine their composition. For instance, traces of water vapor and other molecules have already been detected, indicating complex chemical processes taking place on their surfaces. And the most extraordinary thing? Some astronomers suggest that hot Neptunes could be the precursors to gas giants like Jupiter or Saturn, raising even more questions about the formation and evolution of planets in the universe. Imagine an explosion that releases more energy in 1 second than our Sun does in its entire lifetime. This is not science fiction, but a reality of the cosmos where gamma-ray bursts occur. These extraordinary events can be accompanied by powerful streams of high-energy photons that travel at the speed of light and can pierce through space for billions of light years. A single gamma-ray burst can release the equivalent energy of 1 trillion thermonuclear bombs, all within a few seconds. Scientists believe that the sources of gamma-ray bursts may be related to the collapse of massive stars that become black holes, or the merger of neutron stars, which leads to the formation of new forms of matter and energy. But what is truly astonishing, these bursts can be so bright that they can be seen even from the most distant corners of the universe. When a gamma-ray burst occurs, it emits light in the gamma-ray range, which is at the highest level of the electromagnetic spectrum. This makes them invisible to the human eye, but specialized telescopes like the Fermi satellite can detect these flashes and provide valuable information about their origins. It is important to note that most gamma-ray bursts last only from a few milliseconds to several minutes, but their energy can have significant consequences in the surrounding space. For example, if a gamma-ray burst occurs at a distance of several million light-years, its radiation could reach Earth with enough power to damage the atmosphere and even cause mutations in living organisms. Now imagine that gamma-ray bursts can occur in places where gravity is so strong that even light cannot escape. These are black holes, which astronomers believe may be catalysts for these powerful explosions. When matter falls into a black hole, it heats up to unimaginable temperatures and releases colossal amounts of energy. But what is even more shocking, scientists still do not fully understand all the mechanisms behind gamma-ray bursts. Some research suggests that gamma-ray bursts may not only be the result of the collapse of stars and the merger of neutron stars, but also the consequence of the interaction of dark matter, which makes up about 26% of all matter in the universe. This opens up new horizons for research and raises questions for scientists about how these phenomena can change our understanding of the world. For example, how do gamma-ray bursts affect the formation of galaxies and possibly the conditions necessary for the emergence of life? And here arises the question, what would happen if a gamma-ray burst occurred close enough to Earth? Scientists have calculated that if such an explosion occurred within a distance of 32 light-years from us, it could cause significant changes in the atmosphere and even pose a threat to the existence of life on the planet. This makes us think about how vulnerable we are in this vast and mysterious cosmos. Gamma-ray bursts are not just powerful explosions, they are the key to understanding the evolution of the universe and its deepest secret. At the center of our galaxy, far from the familiar landscapes, lies the Sagittarius B2 cloud, an astonishing formation containing billions of liters of ethanol. Imagine this, the volume of this cloud is so vast that it could produce 30 trillion bottles of wine. The ethanol in this cosmic cloud is formed through complex chemical reactions in the interstellar medium, where molecules and atoms interact under extreme cold and pressure. Scientific research indicates that the concentration of alcohol in Sagittarius B2 is around 10 billion molecules per cubic centimeter, making it one of the most promising objects for further study. But that's not the most astonishing thing. This cloud contains enough alcohol to sustain humanity for many centuries. What's even more surprising is that aside from ethanol, the cloud also contains other organic molecules such as methanol and formaldehyde, challenging our understanding of where and how life could develop. And here's what's truly mind-boggling. This cloud is only 85,000 light-years away from us, making it accessible for study with powerful radio telescopes. It's no wonder that astronomers worldwide are eager to understand how such molecules can form and exist in space. Each new discovery in Sagittarius B2 opens up new horizons for contemplating the origins of life on Earth and in other corners of the universe. In this cloud, we may find not only traces of life-critical molecules, but also clues about how planets formed under conditions that seem utterly alien to us. Clouds like Sagittarius B2 are, in fact, laboratories where the chemistry that precedes the formation of stars and planets takes place. And here's the most incredible part. This cloud may also contain traces of other molecules that could be linked to processes occurring during the early stages of solar system formation. Cosmic strings are hypothetical, one-dimensional defects in the structure of space-time that could have formed during the birth of our universe. Imagine these strings being just a billionth of a meter long, yet capable of influencing all the matter around them. Their existence is proposed within the framework of string theory, which combines quantum mechanics and general relativity, challenging our traditional notions of space and time. Did you know that these strings could possess such powerful gravitational attraction that they could create microscopic black holes? This makes one wonder, how could they influence the formation of galaxies and stars? Now imagine if we could detect one of these strings. It could unlock the mystery of dark matter, which makes up 95% of all the matter in the universe. But that's not all. Cosmic strings can interact with other forms of matter, creating unique energy fields. These fields, in turn, can generate gravitational waves that we are already beginning to detect with instruments like LIGO. Their oscillations can tell us about events happening at the heart of black holes or the collisions of neutron stars. But this is not the only thing this hypothetical concept has to offer. There are suggestions that cosmic strings could be the source of gravitational anomalies observed at the edges of galaxies. Did you know that such anomalies could explain why stars at the edges of galaxies move faster than expected? It's like seeing your car speeding faster than the speedometer shows. Quite unsettling, isn't it? There is also the possibility that these strings could be linked to quantum effects that we are still unable to fully understand or measure. They could serve as a bridge between our knowledge of the microcosm and the macrocosm, opening up new perspectives in the study of physical laws. And if you thought that was all, it gets even more fascinating. Some scientists suggest that cosmic strings could be the key to understanding the multiverse, where our universe is just one of many. This opens the door to questions about other dimensions and even other forms of life that may exist in parallel worlds. Isn't that incredible? So what else might these cosmic strings be hiding? Venus is a planet that surprises not only with its toxic atmosphere, but also with one incredible fact. A day on it lasts longer than a year. Imagine this. Venus completes a full rotation around its axis in 243 Earth days, but to orbit the Sun, it takes only 225 days. What does this mean? It means that on Venus, solar days are almost twice as long as the planet's full rotation. Now imagine what your life would be like if every morning you woke up to the sun's light, but didn't see it twice in a year. Meanwhile, on Earth, day and night alternate, but on Venus, the sun rises and sets very slowly, creating a sense of endless time. This peculiar rotation is due to the fact that Venus rotates around its axis in the opposite direction to its orbit, making it the only planet in the solar system with such strange behavior. But that's not the most unusual thing. Venus's atmosphere is composed of 97% carbon dioxide, and the pressure on its surface is 90 times greater than on Earth. If you found yourself there, you would feel like you were in a deep-sea submarine. But that's not all. The surface temperature reaches almost 800 degrees Celsius. So if you decide to land on Venus, your spacecraft would turn into a furnace. But there's more. Scientists note that the surface of Venus is covered in volcanoes that could still be active. Imagine the landscape where every volcano could erupt at any moment, spewing lava that could melt lead. What's even more shocking? Venus has no water like Earth, but it has clouds made of sulfuric acid. Imagine breathing in an atmosphere where drops of acid fall from the sky. This creates a greenhouse effect where life as we know it is impossible. Scientists continue to study Venus, and each new fact about it opens up new horizons. For example, its relief includes mountains up to 9 kilometers high, making them taller than Mount Everest. But what's really interesting is that despite its hostility, Venus remains an object of study and research because the mysteries it holds could tell us about our own future. Imagine a cosmos where there is no sound, as in the emptiness where no one is present. This happens due to the vacuum. There is no air in the cosmic space that could transmit sound waves. However, what is truly intriguing is that space is not completely silent. There are electromagnetic oscillations that NASA transforms into sounds, allowing us to hear what happens at vast distances. For example, when spacecraft pass through the magnetic fields of planets, they capture these oscillations and convert them into sound waves that we can hear. This sounds like something completely fantastic, doesn't it? 80% of the universe consists of dark matter, which does not emit light and does not interact with ordinary matter, but these oscillations allow us to hear the invisible. Do you know what NASA did in 2013? They recorded the sounds of planets, including the ring system of Saturn. This recording sounds like mysterious music emerging from the depths of the cosmos, giving us an idea of what happens beyond our understanding. But that's not all. Such sound waves help scientists study the magnetic fields and plasma that surround planets. For example, data about Earth's magnetosphere were converted into sound waves that sound like mysterious melodies, allowing scientists to better understand how solar flares affect our planet. And here is where it gets really crazy. Sound oscillations recorded at distances of more than 100 million kilometers from Earth can tell us about the interaction of the solar wind with the atmospheres of other planets. For instance, sounds received from Jupiter sound like eerie screams, and their source is the most powerful magnetic fields that create noise audible in radio frequencies. And imagine listening to stars that are 33 light-years away from us. The sounds we can hear are actually just interpretations of data obtained using complex instruments such as radio telescopes and spectroscopes. But what is truly amazing is that each of these recordings is not just a sound, but a whole story about how our universe functions, its mysteries and wonders. These sound oscillations converted into audio format allow us to touch the cosmos as if we were right there among the stars. And the most shocking thing? These sounds can give us clues about how planets and stars were formed, and even about what awaits us in the future. The spacecraft Voyager 1 was the first human-made object to leave the boundaries of the solar system, and its history is filled with remarkable facts. Imagine this. This spacecraft, weighing only 730 kilograms, was launched from Earth in September 1977, with its primary mission to study the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn. But that's not all. Voyager 1 was the first spacecraft to capture detailed images of Saturn's rings and its largest moon, Titan. What's most astonishing? It did this from a distance of over 1 billion kilometers, and its cameras were capable of capturing details that couldn't be seen from Earth. But that's not the end. In 1983, Voyager 1 flew by Neptune, becoming the first and only spacecraft to visit this planet, and its data continues to help scientists better understand Neptune's atmosphere and its moons. And here's what's truly shocking. During its journey, Voyager 1 became the first object to leave the heliosphere, the region where the solar wind dominates the interstellar medium. On August 18, 2014, it crossed the boundary known as the edge of the solar system and has since been traveling through the vast cosmos, heading towards a star that is more than 4 light-years away. This is not just any space voyage. On board, Voyager 1 is a golden record containing a message for extraterrestrial civilizations, including sounds of Earth, music, and images of people and animals. It's like a cosmic greeting from humanity. But wait, there's more. Voyager 1 continues to send data on cosmic rays and magnetic fields, allowing scientists to study the interstellar medium it now inhabits. And what's truly amazing, every day, Voyager 1 sends data back to Earth, even though the signal takes more than 20 hours to travel over a distance of more than 23 billion kilometers. What do you think? What other mysteries does this endless cosmos hold? On the planet HD 1893, the atmosphere is so harsh that rain falls as glass shards from the sky at speeds up to 8,700 kilometers per hour. Imagine the temperature on this planet reaching nearly 1,000 degrees Celsius. This makes it one of the most extreme planets known to science. But how is this possible? The atmosphere of HD 1893 is composed of carbon dioxide and hydrogen, and as a result, clouds form from silicon, which at these temperatures and pressures turns into glass. These glass rains are not just a figment of imagination, they are a reality, and scientists use data from the Hubble Space Telescope to study this unusual planet. But that's not all. Given that the wind speed on HD 1893 exceeds the speed of sound, imagine how glass droplets would shatter in the air upon impact with the surface. It's like a scene from a horror movie where each droplet could be deadly. Moreover, the planet is located approximately 46 light-years away from Earth, in the constellation Pegasi, placing it in the category of exoplanets that can be studied using modern technologies. But did you know that on HD 1893 there are also hurricanes that can last for several Earth days? These hurricanes, capable of generating winds up to 8,700 kilometers per hour, create unique atmospheric conditions that remain a mystery to scientists. All this information opens new horizons for astronomers who are trying to understand how planets can exist in such extreme conditions. And of course, it raises the question, are there other planets with similar characteristics that could be hiding their own secrets? In the cosmos, there are regions where gaseous clouds transform into stars, and these areas are known as the star nurseries. Imagine the Eagle Nebula. It stretches over 2,000 light-years from us and is a true star factory. Within this cloud of hydrogen and dust, new stars are born, and the process of their formation is incredibly fascinating. What's most remarkable? At the center of the nebula, there are stars that are several times more massive than our Sun and emit so much energy that their light can be seen from millions of light-years away. These stars, with their powerful gravitational fields, attract surrounding gas, causing it to compress and heat up until a thermonuclear reaction begins. When the temperature reaches over 10 million degrees Celsius, the process of fusing hydrogen into helium starts, and the star finally ignites. But that's not all. In the Eagle Nebula, one can also find so-called protostars, which are merely the precursors of new stars. They are surrounded by disks of gas and dust in which planets can form. Around 30% of the gas in the nebula is already involved in the formation of new stars, and the nebula contains more than 100,000 solar masses of material. This means that thousands of new stars could form there. But what's truly astonishing, despite the harsh conditions, catastrophic explosions also occur in nebulae such as supernovae, which expel vast amounts of heavy elements into space, enriching it. These elements can then become the building blocks for new planets and possibly even for life. What's even more astonishing? In the Eagle Nebula, there are areas where stars form so rapidly that they can appear every few thousand years, which is just a blink of an eye in cosmic terms. And to give you an idea of the scale, in the Eagle Nebula, over 30 new stars have already been discovered, ready to live, and this is just the beginning. Each of them could one day become a home for unknown forms of life. Dark energy is not just a theory, but a genuine mystery that makes up approximately 68% of the universe. Imagine this. All the stars, planets, and galaxies we can observe occupy only 32% of the total volume. But what is this strange substance that causes the universe to expand at an accelerating rate? The discovery of dark energy occurred in the 90s of the 20th century when astronomers noticed that distant supernovae were dimmer than expected. This discovery was a shock. Instead of slowing down, as scientists had assumed, the expansion of the universe was accelerating. But how is this possible? The secret lies in the fact that dark energy acts as an antipode to gravity, creating pressure that pushes apart space. This is not just an abstract concept. Research shows that dark energy may be connected to quantum mechanics and the Higgs field, as well as so-called vacuum fluctuations. You won't believe it, but if it weren't for dark energy, the universe could have ended in a big crunch when all galaxies began to collapse into each other. But that's not all. Scientists are trying to understand what dark energy is. Some theories suggest that it might be some form of field that permeates everything, while others propose that it could be a result of changes in gravity on large scales. And here's where it gets really crazy. Some researchers even suggest that dark energy might be connected to parallel universes. If you thought that was already too much, wait until you hear this. Recent experiments show that dark energy can vary depending on space and time. This means that it could have been completely different at the beginning of the universe's existence. But the most astonishing thing is that dark energy remains one of the biggest mysteries of modern astrophysics, and scientists continue to search for answers to understand how it influences the future of our cosmos. Returning astronauts from spacewalks often describe something unusual, the scent they experience when they remove their helmet visors. Imagine this, a mixture of hot metal, welding fumes, and even the smell of cooked meat. How is this possible? The reason is that in open space there are numerous particles and compounds that settle on the spacesuits. These are not just tiny cosmic dust particles. They are microscopic fragments formed by the collision of cosmic rays with molecules in the atmosphere. When astronauts return to the spacecraft, these particles begin to release scents that create that very space aroma. Interestingly, different astronauts may describe it differently, but the common theme is a combination of metallic and burnt smells. Scientific research shows that the scent is influenced not only by the composition of the particles, but also by the conditions in which they settle. For example, in microgravity, molecules behave differently than on Earth. Now imagine this. Every time an astronaut returns from space, they bring back particles from other worlds, leaving their own flying business card on Earth. However, this may sound strange. The scents left on the spacesuit are the result of interaction with the environment at an altitude of more than 300 kilometers above Earth. This opens up a whole new dimension in the study of space and its influence on humans. But did you know that scents in space can also affect the emotional state of astronauts during long missions? There is a belief that such sensory experiences can help maintain psychological health during isolation. In this context, scent becomes not just a part of the cosmic phenomenon, but an important element that allows researchers to better understand how people can survive in conditions far from their home planet. The perception of scents in space is not just a scientific curiosity, it is an opportunity to study how we, humans, can adapt to completely new conditions. Can you imagine what it feels like, being in the void of space and inhaling aromas that simultaneously remind you of home and something completely alien? This opens up new perspectives for understanding not only the astronauts themselves, but also the very nature of life in the universe. Interestingly, the sense that astronauts experience can even influence their behavior and interaction with each other in the confined space of a spacecraft. On Saturn's northern pole, there exists a hexagonal storm that captivates the imagination with its shape and scale. The diameter of this atmospheric phenomenon is 25,000 kilometers, which is greater than the distance from New York to Los Angeles. Imagine a hurricane that stays in one place and does not disappear from the horizon for decades. This storm was discovered in 1989 and has since been the subject of deep study. But what is truly fascinating is that its hexagonal shape arises from complex interactions between atmospheric flows and temperature gradients. On its surface, winds blow at speeds up to 150 kilometers per hour, creating powerful vortices and clouds that can reach heights of 20 kilometers. But that's not all. At the center of this hexagonal structure lies a calm area where the air is virtually motionless, creating a stunning contrast with the turbulent atmosphere around it. What's even more astonishing is that the hexagonal storm is remarkably stable. Scientists believe it has existed for more than 30 years, and its shape has not changed. This discovery raises many questions about the dynamics of the atmosphere, not only of Saturn, but also of other planets in our solar system. For example, how can such structures form under conditions different from those on Earth? Studies show that Saturn's atmosphere is mainly composed of hydrogen and helium, but it also contains ammonia and methane, which may play a significant role in the formation of such giant storms. NASA scientists, using data from the Cassini mission, analyzed atmospheric data and concluded that powerful cooling in the upper layers of Saturn's atmosphere may be the cause of the formation of such stable vortices. But wait, there's more. Recent observations have shown that the storm can change its characteristics, but its main hexagonal contour remains unchanged. Complex atmospheric models predict that this storm may continue to exist for many years, possibly even centuries. Imagine being able to observe the same storm for an entire human generation, a storm that never disappears. What an impression this makes on scientists when they realize they are observing a natural phenomenon that is more than 1 billion kilometers away from Earth. Each new image obtained with Cassini reveals new details and helps unravel the mysteries of this unusual atmosphere. Attention to such phenomena as the hexagonal storm not only broadens our understanding of Saturn, but may also provide insights into processes occurring on other planets, such as Jupiter, or even exoplanets in other star systems. The observable universe spans approximately 93 billion light-years in diameter, yet it is only 13 and 8/10 billion years old. How is this possible? This is where the paradox of space expansion lies. The light we see from the most distant galaxies has traveled to us for billions of years, but during this time, the space itself has been expanding, and the galaxies have been moving away from us at incredible speeds. Imagine this: distant objects that were within our observable range when their light began its journey are now beyond the observable universe. This is because the speed of space expansion exceeds the speed of light. How is this possible? According to Einstein's theory of relativity, nothing can move faster than light in a vacuum, but space itself can expand at any speed, and this is what creates the effect where galaxies appear to be pushed away from us by the expanding space. Furthermore, measurements show that the rate of expansion of the universe is increasing over time, and this discovery has become the basis for the concept of dark energy, which is estimated to make up around 72% of the total energy of the universe. What's even more astonishing, this means that we are observing only a tiny fraction of the entire universe. If you could see further than 93 billion light-years, you would see galaxies that are more than 100 billion light-years away, and they would be beyond our observation. Research conducted with the Hubble Space Telescope shows that this rate of expansion is approximately 72 kilometers per second per megaparsec, which is equivalent to slightly less than 14,000 light-years per year for objects that are so far away. But that's not all. There are theories that suggest the universe could be infinite, and if that is the case, then we are actually observing only an island in the ocean of infinite space. And what's even more mind-boggling, according to some estimates, only 1/1,000,000,000th of the universe could be visible from Earth if it weren't for the expansion of space. This opens up a completely new perspective on our reality and our place in it, questioning everything we know about the cosmos and our relationship to it. At the heart of the galaxy, M87 lies a supermassive black hole with a mass equivalent to 6.5 billion solar masses. Imagine this. It's as if you took all the suns in our solar system and compressed them into a single point. But the most fascinating part began in 2019 when the world first saw an image of this black hole created by the Event Horizon Telescope project. Using 8 radio telescopes located around the globe, scientists collected data that allowed them to visualize the area around the black hole, known as the Event Horizon. This was a true revolution in astronomy. We were witnessing how light, distorted by the gravitational field of the black hole, creates a ring of light surrounded by darkness. And here's where it gets truly mind-boggling. This image, which became a symbol of the scientific era, was created from data collected over just a few days, but processing the information took nearly 2 years. What's even more astonishing, this project not only confirmed the existence of black holes, but also opened up new horizons for studying their nature. For instance, scientists discovered that the black hole in M87 rotates at an incredible speed, reaching nearly 90% of the speed limit set by general relativity. This means that space and time near the black hole behave in a way that defies our imagination, creating conditions we can't even begin to comprehend. Scientists continue to study this black hole and its influence on the surrounding space to understand how it interacts with the matter around it. And here's another fact. Within a radius of just 32 light-years from this black hole, stars are observed moving at fantastic speeds, trying to escape the gravitational trap. Each year, scientists gather new data, and with each new discovery, we get closer to unraveling the mystery of black holes and their role in the evolution of galaxies. Now imagine that this process has been going on for billions of years, and M87, being one of the largest objects in our universe, continues to absorb and tear apart stars in its path. In the constellation of Taurus lies the Crab Nebula, and it is not just a beautiful celestial phenomenon, it is the remnant of a supernova explosion that Chinese astronomers observed in the year 1574. Imagine this, a brilliant flash of light blinding the night sky, visible even during the day. This nebula, with a diameter of about 60 light-years, is one of the most studied objects in the sky, and its shape resembles a giant crab, which is how it got its name. What's most fascinating is that the remnants of this star continue to actively interact with their surroundings. Every year, they eject more than 7 million tons of material into space. Did you know that the central part of the Crab Nebula contains a neutron star rotating at an incredible speed, 13 times per second? This makes it one of the densest stars in the universe, and its magnetic field is 1,000,000 times stronger than Earth's. The Crab Nebula is essentially a laboratory for studying high-energy physics. Here, astronomers observe phenomena that cannot be reproduced on Earth. Within the nebula, processes occur that release powerful streams of X-rays and gamma rays, causing a stir among scientists. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. Astronomers have discovered that new elements, such as oxygen and carbon, are constantly being formed in the nebula, which can then become building blocks for new stars and planets. This means that the Crab Nebula is not just a remnant of a dead star, it is a real factory for creating new worlds. And what's even more astonishing, at a distance of about 1,500 light-years from us, this nebula is just one of many examples of how stars die and are reborn. Every time we look at the Crab Nebula, we see not only the past but also the future of the universe, where stars continue to form from the same elements that were once ejected into space. At the heart of some galaxies lie quasars, which are the brightest objects in the universe. Consider this. The luminosity of a quasar can exceed that of 1 trillion stars, making them true giants among astronomical objects. A crucial point is that quasars are active galactic nuclei where supermassive black holes consume surrounding gas and dust, generating incredible energy flows. These flows, according to astronomers, can extend to hundreds of thousands of light-years. And this is just the beginning. Why do quasars shine so brightly? The answer lies in the process of accretion. When matter falls into a black hole, it heats up to 1 million degrees, emitting light that can be seen even from vast distances. For instance, the quasar designated 3C273 is over 12 billion light-years away from us, yet its light still reaches Earth, providing unique opportunities to study the early universe. But there's more that's astonishing. In some cases, quasars can eject jets that travel at nearly the speed of light and can stretch for millions of light-years, influencing the surrounding environment. One such quasar, 3C273, was the first quasar discovered in 1963, and its luminosity exceeds 1 trillion solar luminosities. Imagine that quasars can exist in different stages of development, from young, actively accreting gas, to old, gradually exhausting their reserves. This means quasars can tell us about how galaxies evolve over billions of years. But that's not all. Some quasars can create gravitational lenses distorting the light from more distant objects. This creates an effect where we can see multiple images of the same star, opening new horizons for astronomers. And the most incredible part, all these processes occur on scales that are hard to comprehend. For example, the mass of the black hole at the center of a quasar can exceed the mass of 1 million suns. On Jupiter, polar lights reach such scales that their brightness exceeds Earth's by hundreds of times. Imagine this. On this gas giant planet, the aurora covers vast areas, reaching tens of thousands of kilometers in height. These mesmerizing light shows are created by the interaction of Jupiter's strong magnetic field, which is 20 times more powerful than Earth's, with streams of charged particles ejected by its moon Io. Io is not just a satellite, but a true geological active factory where volcanoes spew sulfur and sulfur dioxide into space, creating clouds that rise to heights of more than 50 kilometers. These emissions, entering Jupiter's magnetic field, become part of a complex system of interactions that generate these stunning light effects. But if you think that's all, prepare for an even more shocking fact. Saturn also has polar lights, and they look like someone has poured buckets of paint onto its cloudy fists. Saturn's auroras, as shown by the Cassini missions, can be even more diverse in color and form than those on Jupiter. Some of them are created by the solar wind interacting with the planet's atmosphere, while others are due to its own magnetic field. Now imagine that in this light game, not only the planets of our solar system are involved. On exoplanets beyond our system, similar phenomena may also occur. Scientists suggest that on some of these planets, located more than 100 light-years away, polar lights may be even more intense due to the more active stars they orbit. As incredible as this may sound, these polar lights could be a key to understanding the atmosphere and climate conditions on these distant worlds. And who knows what other secrets these bright light curtains hide on planets we have yet to explore. In the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, lies a supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A star, whose mass is 4 million times greater than that of our Sun. Imagine an invisible monster so massive that its gravitational pull can keep stars in orbit at distances up to 100,000 light-years away. But that's not all. The main part of the matter that the black hole consumes is in the accretion disk, where gas and dust heat up to millions of degrees, emitting light that can be observed from Earth. It's fascinating that Sagittarius A star emits powerful radio waves, making it one of the most studied black holes. Scientists estimate that there are more than 100,000 stars orbiting it at incredible speeds, up to 8 million kilometers per hour. Now imagine that in this chaos there are stars that have only existed for a few thousand years and are already approaching the point where the black hole's gravity becomes fatal. How could they have survived so long? The secret lies in their dynamic interaction. Some manage to escape, while others become victims of this powerful gravitational capture. But that's not the most shocking part. Sagittarius A star is just one of many black holes in our galaxy, and astronomers estimate there could be up to 100 million of them. This number makes us ponder how many more mysteries are hidden in the depths of the cosmos. What's even more amazing, 8 billion years ago, when the universe was much younger, Sagittarius A could have already existed, consuming stars and gas to form what we now call the Milky Way galaxy. But how do black holes influence the evolution of galaxies? Their gravity not only attracts but also shapes stars, creating conditions for the formation of new solar systems. The space around them is filled not only with light but also with mysteries waiting to be revealed. And this is just the beginning of the story of how black holes are connected to the very structure of the universe. In the constellation of Aquarius lies something extraordinary, a cloud of water vapor containing 143 trillion times more water than all the oceans on Earth combined. Imagine this number. 143 trillion is like multiplying every drop in every ocean by 30 billion. This cloud, known as APM 08279 plus 5255, is located more than 12 billion light-years away from our planet, and its size is such that it could encompass our entire solar system. Have you ever wondered how such a massive water cloud could have formed? The secret lies in active galactic nuclei, where black holes consume vast amounts of matter, creating conditions for the formation of such quantities of water vapor. But that's not the most astonishing part. The temperature in this cloud reaches several thousand degrees Kelvin, making it one of the hottest water formations known to astronomers. What's even more fascinating, this cloud contains not only water but also numerous other chemical elements, such as carbon and oxygen, suggesting the possibility of conditions suitable for life. Compare this with Earth. Our oceans contain only 2.5% fresh water, whereas this cloud holds incredible reserves that could sustain life if it existed under such conditions. Now imagine that this cloud continues to grow, absorbing water molecules from the surrounding cosmos. Can you imagine that in the future, astronomers might discover even more such water clouds, enough to support entire civilizations? For comparison, the total amount of water on Earth is estimated to be 400 trillion liters, and this cloud contains 143 trillion times more water. This discovery could change our understanding of the presence of water and life in other parts of the universe. What if there are even larger water clouds in other galaxies that we know nothing about? This question makes us ponder the vastness and surprises of our cosmos. And now, imagine that this cloud might contain molecules that are the building blocks of life, such as amino acids. This discovery could revolutionize our perception of the possibility of life beyond Earth. In our galaxy, the Milky Way, there are hidden between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine this. Each star is not just a glowing point in the sky, but an entire system where planets, moons, and possibly even life could exist. But wait, there's more. There are approximately 2 trillion galaxies in the universe. This number is so vast that it's hard to even imagine. For instance, if you wanted to count all the stars in our galaxy, it would take more than 100,000 years, counting one star per second. And in each of these galaxies, there could be from 1 million to 1 trillion stars. How many of them might have conditions suitable for life? This is a question that has intrigued scientists for decades. There are theories that in our galaxy alone, there could be up to 100 million planets in the habitable zone where water could exist in liquid form. But what's even more astonishing, scientists claim that about 99% of the universe is composed of dark matter and dark energy, which remain a mystery to us. These invisible components not only cannot be directly observed, but also influence the structure and evolution of the universe. And the most amazing thing? This is just a small part of what we can learn about the cosmos, and new telescopes like the James Webb are just beginning to reveal its secrets. For example, it can look back billions of light years to the era when the first stars and galaxies were forming. How will this change our understanding of the beginning of the universe? The questions that arise only fuel our desire to explore. Did you know what diamond planets are? One of the most astonishing discoveries by astronomers is a planet called 55 Cancri e, which is largely composed of diamond. Imagine a world where crystals might lie on the surface, sparkling against the backdrop of stars, and the temperature reaches over 1,300 degrees Celsius. This is not just a fantasy. Scientists suggest that the core of this exoplanet consists of carbon and silicates, and under immense pressure, carbon can transform into diamond. But that's not all. 55 Cancri A is 2.5 times larger than Earth and 8 times heavier, creating conditions where diamonds can form on a massive scale. Now imagine the pressure. It's like being crushed by 30 cars at once. And if that's not shocking enough, this planet has no water or atmosphere like ours, but its surface is made of hard minerals, and the temperature is so high that even lead melts. If you thought that was incredible, wait until you hear this. Astronomers have found that 55 Cancri e orbits its star in just 8 hours, making it one of the fastest objects in the cosmos. On such a planet, a day is shorter than on Earth, so imagine how you would feel if you had 8 sunrises and sunsets in a single day on Earth. These exoplanets are opening a new era in astronomy, as their study helps us understand how planets form in other solar systems. And now, the most exciting part. Scientists continue to search for new diamond planets, and perhaps soon we will discover worlds where diamonds not only sparkle, but also become a primary resource. Each new discovery makes us ask, what else is hidden in the universe and what will be the next big revelation? The footprints of the Apollo missions on the Moon are not just historical artifacts, they are genuine time capsules capable of telling the story of our past for millions of years. Imagine this. On the Moon's surface, there are imprints of astronauts' boots that will never be erased by wind or rain. On Earth, such traces disappear within a few months, but on the Moon, they can persist for millions of years because there is no atmosphere to erode the surface. Furthermore, in the low gravity and absence of water, these traces remain in pristine condition. It is fascinating that just a few dozen steps by astronauts left deep imprints in the lunar regolith, which is composed of small particles of rock. These particles, similar in structure to sand but much sharper and rougher, are ideal for preserving footprints. Now imagine that each footprint holds the memory of those who first set foot on another celestial body. Each of these sites is like a museum where you can see the first steps of Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, left in July 1969. These steps are not just symbols of human courage, they are evidence of humanity's greatest achievement. But did you know that there are also objects left on the Moon, such as lunar rovers and flags? They too will remain for millions of years. Your imagination can picture a future where alien researchers stumble upon these traces and artifacts, unaware of who or what left them. Some scientists suggest that these traces could be valuable evidence for future lunar colonists who will study how humanity first ventured beyond its planet. If that seems exciting, consider this. There is not a single resident on the Moon who could damage these traces, making them true guardians of our cosmic heritage. Each of these objects and traces holds information about the technologies used, the spirit of that era, and our desire to explore the unknown. How many more secrets might the Moon be hiding, waiting to be discovered?